Welcome to one of the most important videos that I believe everyone should know. I'm a little biased on this because this has happened to me. So hopefully you learn something from this video about the laws and what you're responsible for knowing. My name's Zach. I'm an owner of Future First Criminal Law and a criminal defense lawyer here in Phoenix, Arizona and the surrounding cities. Continue to watch this video because you're going to learn something that I wish I knew before I became a lawyer. Number 14 we have here is ignorance of the law is not a defense. The "I didn't know this was illegal" is not a defense to the charges against you. So neither the police nor the prosecutor nor the judge actually cares what you know or don't know about the law. It is presumed that all people within the jurisdiction they are in are aware of the laws. So claiming that you were ignorant of a specific provision for which you're now charged with violating will not allow you to escape criminal liability. This is very common in our cases that we have today. There are a ton of people in Arizona that aren't from Arizona. There are a ton of people that violate laws here that they didn't know were laws. It's your responsibility to get educated about the laws in Arizona, even if you don't ever plan on doing anything illegal. And that leads me to my story back in college before I went to law school. I was doing everything right when I got in trouble with the DUI. I wasn't driving. I started doing all my punishments, but I had a suspended license. MVD had given me a new license, but I was not driving because my license suspension had started. Well, one day I was a backseat passenger. One of my friends was driving, one of my friends was in the passenger seat, and I was in the back seat. We were doing nothing wrong, but the police got pulled us over because the driver had expired tags. The police officer then approached the driver and said, "Hey, mister, do you know you have expired tags? That's why I pulled you over." The driver said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did realize that. I'm going to get some new ones." The officer said, "That's fine, but can I please have everyone's IDs?" And we all handed them up to the officer. The officer then came back and gave my friend a warning. Because we weren't doing anything criminally wrong, that driver got a warning. Said, "Yes, please go get your tags renewed." The officer then said, "Mr. Divelbiss, will you please step out of the vehicle?" I looked around and I said, "Okay." My friends were looking at me all confused. I was confused. I step out and the officer says, "Mr. Divelbiss, do you know you just handed a police officer false identification?" And I said, "No, sir, absolutely not. I don't have any false identification. I absolutely would not be giving you any." And the officer says, "Well, look, I've been handed a driver's license here." And I said, "Yes, that's me. The MVD 10 minutes down the road gave it to me a couple weeks ago." The officer then said, "Well, sir, do you know that your license is currently suspended?" I said, "Yes, absolutely, which is why I'm in the back seat of the car, not driving." The officer then said, "Well, great. Here's a ticket, criminal violation for providing law enforcement with false identification." I started to plead with the officer. I said, "Officer, look, this is unfair. What are you talking about? And if this ID doesn't work, this driver's license, for whatever reason, I've got a passport at home that I can get." The officer said, "No, I'm not here to argue with you about it. Go tell it to the prosecutor or the judge." So I go to the prosecutor and I try and explain, "Look, this police officer pulled over my friend. I was in the back seat. He asked for our IDs. We gave him this. He said I had a suspended license, which I do. And he said that this driver's license is false identification." Prosecutor said, "Look, I don't want to hear anything about it. If you want, you can have a trial and tell it to the judge." Thought this case would be a slam dunk, easy. I've been in college, but I hadn't been to law school yet. I get to trial, and I knew I was just going to explain this just the same way I am to you today. The judge then asked what happened. I then explained how I went to MVD, got this license. MVD official gave it to me. I got objected to a ton of times from the prosecutor. I didn't know what these objections meant. I was unprepared for them. So my story didn't come off as clear as I wanted to, but still pretty clear. The judge, by the end of the trial, was able to understand that I didn't believe I was violating any laws, that there weren't any laws that I was knowingly violating. Well, guess what? The judge found me guilty of a criminal violation for presenting law enforcement with false identification. And again, I begged and I pleaded. I said, Judge, look at this. I don't know what I did wrong. I tried to ask the police officer and they wouldn't tell me. I tried to explain this to the prosecutor and they wouldn't tell me. So finally I'm here. I had a trial. I'm asking to be explained what went wrong that I did that caused me to be in front of you and have a criminal trial and now another criminal conviction on my record. And the judge was nice and the judge said, well, son, look at this. There's technically a law that says while your license is suspended, you're not allowed to have a driver's license. And that therefore then becomes false identification because technically I did not have a valid driver's license since my license was suspended. So I found out the hard way through an entire trial that what I was supposed to do after a DUI, after my license was suspended, even after MVD gave me this driver's license, I was supposed to go and spend another $8 or whatever and get an identification card. I learned the hard way that it is easy for you to unknowingly violate the law. And my ignorance was not a defense. I hope that my story helps you in some small way learn that this is why the justice system is not fair. That this is why I have a job helping good people stay out of jail. That this is why I have a passion for owning future first, because these convictions affected my future in ways that I had no idea of. And there are so many things that people are getting in trouble for today that they didn't know were crimes. And good people do not deserve to be in jail. If you believe you have a case and you want a free consultation, please contact us now so we can help you.